Welcome, everybody, to the Rundown. I am your host, Dr. Sam Zehnder, physical therapist and fitness expert slash enthusiast. Joined with some very special guests. I know I say that every time, but these genuinely are very special guests. These were the first people that ever held me in their loving arms. My dear parents, Dan and Cindie Zehnder. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Hello, Sam.
Let's get the elephant in the room addressed here. You guys don't live that very far from me or from the clinic, but you chose to stream because you just didn't want to be around me. Is that right?
That is not true.
You just don't care to come to the clinic. Okay, I was under the wrong impression. So no. We're keeping it casual here, people. But um, the whole point of the podcast is we've talked about, as the viewers and listeners have talked about, is really bridging the gap between the important yet sometimes dull, stale academic science part of health and fitness into the more practical piece and the everyday approach. And I felt like what better way to do that than to talk to people who gave me most of what I have right now in life, as far as my ambition to do what I do and help others. And so I wanted to get a genuine perspective from your own words on your own health and fitness journeys, because I'm aware, obviously, of where you're at now to an extent, but I know the audience is not aware. So whoever wants to go first, really just what I want to get or gain for the audience is kind of some insight into how your background, whether that starts in childhood, high school, college, young adulthood, whatnot, has led you to where you're at now with your current health and fitness regimen. So whoever wants to start first.
Well, I will go ahead and start, and that was very kind of you. Your kind words, Sam. Yeah, so I would say my fitness routine, if you will, probably pretty much started in high school, way back in the days of Elaine Powers. It was like a little salon where you could go and spend some time on the exercise belt and rollers and all those kinds of things that probably really didn't do anything, but it still got me started in a routine of exercise and trying to take care of my physical fitness that way. So that just progressed into different kinds of aerobic classes when that was popular, step classes. I loved going to the gym. I loved exercising, and that's just continued to increase over the years to the point where still today I'm going 5 days a week, some days doing more than one class a day, and I just love it.
I love it too.
I know you do.
I think that's a great way to put it. So, Dad, the floor is yours.
My journey was a little bit different. After high school, the sports and things that I was involved in went right into work. And so my fitness regimen became more of a work regimen more than anything else. And I did not exercise or pursue a lot of specific healthcare type physical fitness activity until a few years ago, and decided, hey, it's time to get back into this. And what are the rest of my days going to look like, kind of thing. So what can I do differently? So with the encouragement of you and what you've developed in your program and your mom as well, I've actually been doing quite well. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I feel good about that. Our recent conversation, for example, in the squats and focusing on squats and what I need to do there. Day 5 into that, and I can tell you that from Monday till today even, I'm doing more and feeling even better. I did not think my legs were going to feel that good that fast. I'll say it that way. And the stretching and the activity that goes with that to get that done has been amazing. So I thank you for the tips.
Sorry.
Keep it together over there. We're keeping this in, just so you know.
Usually comes in 3, so there might be one more.
Yeah, there's one more.
It happens. No, thank you very much for the background. I think it's good to hear how different, in a positive way. I think both of you have had different backgrounds. Mom, I know, having grown up with you, and I grew up with you too, Dan, right? Yeah, I guess technically I grew up with both of you. But I'm saying, having grown up, knowing your routine and knowing Dad's routine, and hearing you now just kind of differentiate between, now you're both obviously very fit and interested in your health, and that matters a lot to you, but maybe your journey to get to this point has been very different. I think it's important because that's true for many people, right? A lot of people can be discouraged if they're not happy where they're at now. And I work with people all the time to try to get them on track, or for those who are on track, maybe help them stay on track or tweak things. So let's dive a little bit more deeply into the present, right? Because how you view fitness now is going to be very different than maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. So again, whoever wants to go first, I mean, how do you feel about the value of fitness, what it means to you, and how you can integrate it into your life and your busy schedules at this point?
Well, I would say that, motivation back in the day was to, look good, wear the jeans you wanted to fit into, whatever. That's very different now, being a grandparent. I really see the benefit of having exercised all those years, but now focus more on, trying to be able to keep up with your kids, Sam, and being very thankful that I can get down on the floor, that I can do all sorts of, active things with these kids. So that definitely is more of a focus. For me, the harder part was always the food. And so right now, taking that much more seriously also, because it starts to affect things like your blood pressure and other things, and we look at our peers that are on a lot of medications. Whenever I go into the doctor, he's like, not on any medications. And he's very surprised. And I'm very thankful that I can be to that point right now. And so I want to continue to keep that going as long as I can. So for me, it's being the best that I can be today. And thankful for what I've been blessed with already.
Yeah, and piggybacking off of that, I can say for myself that being able to do some things, being more self-conscious of what am I eating, when am I eating, how much am I eating, what's in nutritionally that which I am eating. That's been a big difference, helped with the weight loss, combined with more exercise, and simple. It doesn't have to be as uh, robust as one might think. That you're spending 3 hours a day in the gym type thing. I don't. I have to do that, and yet I'm feeling much better. Like I said, with my legs just in a week, feeling my hamstrings, no pain, just much better from the stretching and the squats and so forth. Plus, combining that with setting personal goals for myself, increasing steps, and that activity makes a world of difference. And I feel real good about it. So I'm going to stay on that course for the rest of the days, rest of my days. Unlike your mother willing to get on the floor with the children, I'll bend over a little bit, but I'm not going to camp out on the floor as they like to do and so forth. So
As long as you can bend your wrist and arm into your back pocket. I'm kidding. No, that's all we need.
He's got that one
Uh,
down. It's comfortable.
yes. No, let's Dad, you mentioned something I want to touch on, and then we'll circle back to Mom too. But let's I think for the sake of, again, bridging that practicality gap even further, go more in depth on what your current routine is right now. You kind of alluded to that, like the general types of things you're trying to do, but take us through, like, right now, an average week for you. Still working to, some capacity. It's very different than how your work schedule looked maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. Um, but what for you right now is a typical week as far as your daily activity, whether that is formal, like designated, time in the gym, or if that's, just time in between meetings or, daily activity. I mean, what does that look like for you?
well, and that's a very good question. I've started out with a much more um, regimented routine in the morning, getting up in the morning, whether I'm traveling and on the road or whether I'm here at home. What do I need to do and what do I want to do, whether it be our quiet time or devotional time, combined with my health issues, the steps, the squats and so forth. That's all first thing. That's before I get into the day and dig into the details, whether it takes another 15 minutes here or there, that doesn't really matter. It's not like it was 10 years ago where my calendar was much, much tighter. So having a little more flexibility now is actually helping me hold myself to my own commitments, my own personal promises to myself. And I feel real good about it. Getting ready for now a walk through Yellowstone in September. That's also helped as I look and think about things to come in the future. How much activity can I take? As you know, we switched from a riding mower to a push mower. So I'm getting my steps in there. That helps a lot. Just feeling a whole lot better. I physically feel better with information that you've given me, things I've picked up elsewhere and so forth. So does that answer the question?
It does, and I appreciate your kind words as well. But let me be clear to the audience that there was no compensation for your attendance in this show, correct? Even though we have spoken before about things. Okay.
No, there is missing funds from my wallet. I assume that you or your children took them.
Probably my daughter. She gets that from her mother. But the budget here at Rock Solid Rundown is pretty narrow when it comes to podcast guests. So let's just be clear for the audience. Mom, same question to you. What's your current routine?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's always been easy for me to go to the gym. I love going to the gym. So that's pretty much been stable for me for decades. I go still to the gym 5 days a week. And the thing that's changed for me over the years is the food, which has always been the harder part for me. I have total sweet tooth. So as I was aging and developing some issues like high blood pressure, I started looking at keeping that under control without having to go on medication. So over the years, I've tried all the diet fads, the low carb, the high protein, the whatever was, the fad, and been able to keep my weight at a somewhat reasonable number. Now it was a matter of now my health is being affected with my blood pressure. So what I do now is I just count my sodium. And so I have a little piece of paper on the counter, and every day I write down how many milligrams of sodium I'm taking in. And lo and behold, when you count your sodium, you're eating a much healthier diet. Usually you're not eating processed or ultra processed foods. You're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and just things that are all around healthier. So I have, in the midst of just counting sodium, lost 20 pounds. So that seems to be working pretty well for me. So right now, that's what I'm doing.
Very good. And you touched on nutrition, which I appreciate because obviously that's a critical piece of the whole fitness and healthy lifestyle factor as well.
And
But
it bring my blood pressure is totally normal now on the low side. So following that kind of a diet does make a difference.
that is true. Thank you.
To get that in.
Yes. Again, not paid to say this. No big, big dash diet or big sodium, anti-sodium diet that's involved here. Just a practical approach, and you recognize, hey, something needs to change. And to your credit, you made a change, and it's working. So that's always great to hear when the recommendations actually pay off. I feel like my next question has to be a little bit different for both of you because what you described, your journey to get to this current point has been very different. Mom, what you said is, you've generally been active consistently for, most of your life. Dad, maybe not as much until recently. So, Mom, to you, what has been your motivation or your mindset to stay active consistently? Because many people drop off and life goes through different phases and, it's tough to stay on that track. And then Dad, to you, what was maybe if there was maybe one factor or one moment that really caused you to say, okay, I got to take this seriously and get on track. So, to summarize, Mom, how'd you stay on track? Dad, how'd you get on track?
Well, again, going to the gym is not a problem. Exercise has always been easy for me, so that is not a problem at all. The food, again, being more conscious at this age of the things that can affect your health. Before it was just kind of looking at the number on the scale. And so if that was okay, then all right, fine. But now at this age, looking at other health issues that are impacted by what you eat, how you exercise, how you take care of yourself. We want to be around as long as we can to see your kids grow up and their grandkids down in Texas as well. And so again, it's being focused on wanting to be the best that we can be at this age for our family as well as for ourselves. and just trying to take the best care that we can to be responsible for our health too. To know that, you know what, we can make a difference. So, you know, if I'm taking in too much salt and that's making my blood pressure high and I decrease it now, yeah, okay, I need to take personal responsibility for those kinds of things. So there's great benefits in doing that, to say like, yes, I made a difference, and it really works. So that seeing that too is great motivation to, okay, let's just continue to do the best that we can every day.
And Dad,
So for me,
when she
and
stops talking, that's when you start talking.
yeah, okay. That'll be tomorrow.
Oh, classic. We're leaving that in.
When for me, actually, I can't remember each and every detail around it, but I can tell you it was in February of 23 when I do remember waking up in the morning. My hips were hurting. I had sore knees. My weight had really topped out a lot, and I just knew something had to change. So started an exercise program that included a commitment and financial obligation with another company. And that worked out very well in terms of getting me started. And I started losing weight and I started feeling better. And I remember the day, and it was probably mid that year, when, mid 23, about 6 months after this, where my knees weren't hurting. I woke up in the morning and I had no pain in my knees. And I remember getting on the scale and I had lost about 18, 19 pounds. So since February of 23, I'm down about 74 pounds from my high water mark. And it's been slow. It's not, I don't give up everything, but I'm a lot smarter on that. I had a lot of encouragement from your mom. And so working together on that and supporting one another with our life changes too. You know, the kids are out, you guys are out of the house. It's time for us to downsize, do a few things differently. So just a lot of things of life said, here's an opportunity to recalibrate and set the table differently for the future. And again, most recently here, just last week, when you gave me that instruction for the squats and a variety of things, I thought, okay, well, we'll see what happens. And sure enough, within 3 days, I had no more pain in my thighs, front or back. And so doing that every day feels good. Stretches it a little bit, pushes the envelope. I've got more to do. You know, I'm not done on this front, but I feel I can do these things without disrupting my professional activities that I have going on, and add value to my life and my health by doing so. So it's I'm enjoying it.
You both mentioned family, whether that's your family or my family or your kids' families, being a huge motivator now for you to stay on track and to keep improving your health. But I'm sure there's also some intrinsic or maybe self-reported, let's say, reasons for why you do what you do and what motivates you. So let's say, to those watching or those listening who maybe don't have kids or don't have family that are as involved in their lives, what do you feel like might be a reason from not a PT, from a clinician, let's say, again, trying to bridge that gap into the practical side of things, what do you feel like can be a motivating piece of encouragement for people to stay fit and consistent in their health for themselves? If family's not maybe the primary driver, like what other pieces for you have been important in your journey?
Let me answer that first, because I'll say in my case, the skepticism that I had over the years over certain exercise and activities, and the mental dismissal of my own healthcare needs, that woke me up. I woke up with the pain, and I got to do something about that. But being able to take these small steps, and a lot of advice from you through you over the years, through your educational process and so forth, I started applying that, and wow, that really does make a difference. So I'm to some degree kind of surprised that how much better you can feel by setting a routine, maintaining that discipline to do that level, whatever that level is, and then enhancing it a little bit, adding to that, so you keep getting better, stronger, feeling better, much more flexible. Flexibility, I'm sometimes surprised at how much flexibility I have even right now, setting aside the kneeling on the floor or going up and down with your kids that can drop to the floor in a second's notice.
They're also made out of rubber, so that's a little bit easy at that age.
Yeah, I think so. But so that's important to me for myself.
Well, I would agree with what Dan just said too. It's just as being able to function, you see the being able to reach for things, being able to bend over to grab things. I mean, just things that are everyday life. At this age, we see a lot of our peers at the same age not being able to do those things. So right now, that's great motivation. I mean, you do feel better. Yeah, I mentioned I have a sweet tooth. So just kind of being in that sugar kind of fog and that addiction, if you will, it feels really good to not be controlled by, having to have the next bit of chocolate or whatever. That I really lived that way for a lot of years. So I think I have a lot of self-satisfaction in not having those addictions anymore. Um, Being able to, move and do things that are just everyday life, which get harder to do as we age. So I appreciate that, being able to see that, as I mentioned before, you can make a difference and have good results. So that satisfaction that comes from being able to, yeah, I can take control of this and make a difference. That is also very good motivation.
Yes.
It's good to hear that you've noticed a breadth or a variety of benefits too, because a lot of people will focus on the aesthetic or the scale. They focus on one variable, and usually one thing specifically is going to take some time. And if that's only the focus, all of these other benefits may be getting missed. And so I think it's important, as you mentioned, to cast a wide net in terms of the reasons why being active and being fit and eating well can be healthy. But Mom, specifically, I'm curious on your routine over the past, several decades with exercise. I'll certainly attest to mine having changed in terms of the purpose behind what I do, having kids and wanting to be functional for them, and specifically emphasizing my heart health at a younger age. Whereas when I was playing football or just after playing football, to me it was, at that time, without having kids yet, it was all about just strength and muscle mass, and of course very important stuff. But my priorities shifted my exercise routine. And so I'm curious to hear from you if your routine in terms of the specific kinds of workouts or the specific movements or your intentional focus in your workouts, if that has changed over the past couple decades, or if you feel like you've stayed consistent there and it's really just the nutrition that has evolved or changed.
Well, the nutrition part has evolved and changed the most for sure. As far as what I do physically at the gym has changed somewhat too, just because of aging. So, I find myself doing a lot of the same things, but probably I don't do as much jumping or hopping, those things that are just a little harder on the joints. And I kind of try and modify. So I do classes at the gym, and there's a lot of younger people in there doing those classes too. So I modify where I need to modify. I also use that as encouragement, though, and inspiration to keep going and do things that seem a little hard, as long as it doesn't cause wear and tear on my body that am hurting myself or straining things. It helps to push me a little bit too. So I just try and use a little wisdom and discernment in how much I do or don't do. But basically, I would say it's been pretty consistent over the years.
So obviously you're in it for the long game right now, right? Not necessarily trying to compete to be world champion in anything, where
Right.
the risk, of course, might be a little bit higher for injuries and things like that. But trying to stay durable and stay consistent with it. Yeah, and I know for you, just having again lived with you, been in your life, but for the sake of the audience here, I know that your routine, your fitness, rather, I'm sorry, your nutrition has changed quite a bit. So, give us a little bit more description of in the past how your nutrition may have looked, particularly with work, taking long road trips and not always having access to the best options to now, to your credit, very much prioritizing eating well, eating, good things consistently, even when those around you may not be eating the healthiest of options, staying consistent there. I mean, how has your nutrition really drastically changed?
Well, if I go back 30 years, I can say that, from the time of being on the road all the time and traveling and maybe dining out with customers, having big meals, breakfast and supper, dinner meals, eating more than I should, or the big enemy for me for a period of time was fast food, just eating a lot of drive-through type things like that. Now that's gone. I did not think that changing my lifestyle would be as both quite as beneficial as it has been, my food lifestyle, and the benefits that come from it, as well as the I don't miss this anymore. I don't miss certain things. Now, that's not to say I won't have a milkshake every now and then, but what could have been one or two a week is now maybe once a quarter. It's drastically different. Like you said about heart health and those kinds of things too. The body's an amazing thing, and as I've read on different things that you shared with me, that your mom shared with me, to look at by just making some of these simple modifications, not too drastic, not too out of bounds, you can improve your health and longevity and lifestyle quite dramatically, quite quickly, and it's sustainable if you keep doing this. And so I am surprised that, especially over the last 6 to 8 months, how positively routine these things have been. Looking at the food that we eat and how we eat it, and us, the two of us having meals together, creating that kind of a setting where it's not just a grab and go, but it's actually sit down and enjoy a healthy meal together to help ease the day and the stress and all that kind of stuff. So that's been a big plus. And something else that motivates this is when people you haven't seen in a while say, "Oh my gosh, you look great," and so forth. So what are you doing and all that kind of stuff. Be able to tell that story a little bit. I am waiting for my first. My gosh, are you Brad Pitt? And I am waiting for that moment. I haven't had that yet. I know it's coming because it was there and it'll be back again, I'm sure. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, see, she agrees. So, but
Phrase this: I wouldn't spend the years you have left waiting. That okay?
but no, all joking aside, the compliments on people that can tell that I've lost some weight and so forth, and I just physically feel better. So there's getting up and moving around or walking around and getting something done, and you got that. There's a sense of accomplishment as opposed to going into something with that front end of nothing but burden that goes with that. So yeah.
I think we should add in there that we do use a meal delivery service too, because for those who don't like to cook or are not a good cook, and Sam, you can attest to that's not my area of
I
expertise.
disagree.
I,
Let's not make me sound like I'm the complainer. I could always go for some chili cheese pie.
I don't like it. It's not, I've never been my favorite thing to do. And that always somewhat felt like a burden to be able to, oh, now I got to put this together and it's got to be healthy and I got to count this and look at that. So doing a meal delivery service that we do where we each have at least 3 meals from this delivery service that is good, healthy nutrition. We don't ever think about it. It's very convenient and it helps us stay on track, kind of, as you mentioned before, when people around you are eating different things, we still are very disciplined to eat our little meals that we order and pay for and have delivered. So that really has made a big difference for me and being able to stay on a plan that is good and nutritious. So just going to throw that in there.
Which is important, I think. So thank you for saying that, because I always stress to patients or non-patients, clients, that consistency is key. So finding some routine that you can actually stay with versus trying for 2 weeks and then falling off is always huge. And I wish we had a whole hour or even longer to talk about all these different questions I have rolling in my head, but maybe a good excuse for future episodes. So the last thing I want to leave with is that I always stress professionally, whether it's in person or online, as much as I can, that a lot of the changes that people can make, or the lifestyle choices people can make, are going to be effective and relevant even at a young age. Many times, I think it's human nature that we wait until problem arises before we start to address it, and that's maybe when we're 50, 60, 70 years old before we start to realize, hey, I should change my diet or my activity. But there's a lot of things that we do when we are in our teens, 20s, and 30s that have a profound impact on the rest of our lives in terms of health and fitness. So the last thing that we'll do here is, to each of you, if you were sitting across the table from maybe 30-year younger version of you, 30, 40 years old, young adult, the rest of their lives ahead, I'm sure that version of you, the mentality, the focus in life was very different. But now, knowing what you know, what you lived, what would you tell them regarding your health and fitness in whatever context that you can think of? What would you encourage that version of yourself to focus on and prioritize?
Well, for me, it definitely would be the food, to eat healthier. There may be ramifications coming down the pipe that I haven't faced yet, even that might be from eating so much sugar, or not eating a balanced meal the way I should have. So definitely for me, it would be to be more conscious of what you're putting into your body. Again, because the exercise was easy, but I would definitely eat more nutritiously, my younger self.
I would concur with that same thing. So it would be diet, or food choices, giving up or extremely limiting fast food and a variety of things along those lines. And number two, being more active, and number three, if I could unwind the clock and go backwards a little bit, I change my discipline routine into a greater priority, knowing what I know now, kind of thing. I would do it differently, but give yourself some daily discipline and routine for your healthcare needs.
But it's never too late to start, and I think your dad is a good example of that. So,
Yeah,
you can always make changes no matter what age you are. You can improve your physical fitness for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I don't usually say this.
I feel that way. I do.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, I can tell, again, seeing you frequently, and from those around you, I know that we can see the changes, and your consistency has always been inspiration. So both of you are inspirational. And I don't usually say this to my podcast guests, but I love you both, and I appreciate your time being here. And I think the message and everything you guys have talked about will resonate with everybody listening and watching, hopefully. And yeah, appreciate everything that we've said today, and your time. So thank you.
Sam, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting us.
Sam, I want you to know something. You are in one of the top 4 of our favorite children.
Well, that's a good segue, because that was actually going to be my first question of the next episode. So I guess people just have to tune in to see what the answer is there. So thanks for listening, watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Peace out.